from each chapter. I talk about a documentary that I watched back in 2017, and I haven't been able to stop watching it since. Especially now, I work with men on probation. But even before that, it's called The Work 2017. It's about a prison therapy group that's been running successfully, very successfully, for like 20 years. And finally, for the first time in 2017, outsiders were allowed in with a camera crew, and it was wow. This is not just talking therapy, it's not just people sharing like normal men's group. This is really intense digging into what made us who we present ourselves to be. And what really is the shocker is like some of those prisoners on the inside who've been doing this work, that's why it's called The Work, far more healthy. And some of those are murderers, right? The society has written those off because of what they've done. I'm not saying they shouldn't be punished. I'm just saying how they've managed to gain this redemption. And you see their eyes, and it's like clarity, it's like childlikeness, and yet tough, strong men. And you see people on the outside, it's like looking at myself before I even was aware of these things. It's a pretty sad picture, and yet they were normal men. One of those normal men, and none of those normal men believed that they really needed much of that therapy, because they were not criminals, they were not locked up. They were interested in it, but they didn't really fully understand how much they needed it. And so one of those men was talking about his father, and his father left him a long time ago. And he said, and I'm going to read the quote, he says, his name is Charles. "I never knew my place in this world," Charles went on to say, emotion slowly rising to the surface as he continued. "Nobody to teach me how to be a man." Opening his soul more and more with each sentence, Charles confessed that he had been deeply hurt by his father's abandonment of him. "I've always felt that empty spot in my life," he sighed, "like I was missing something, like a part of me." He then paused. Look, he's got something there, he's onto something. He then paused and did something which most of us ordinary men would do. He tried to minimize it all and shove the emotion back down from whence it had come. But the men in the circle were anything but ordinary. Those imprisoned convicts, those least among the lowly, were in fact emotional giants. Supported by their deep understanding and fierce strength, Charles was able to continue on his quest for the truth. "I'm trying to be for my kid what he was not for me," he said, downcast. The man on his left side, a prisoner, asked him to clarify. "Explain that," he said. "How are you able to fill that space?" Charles went on. "Number one, being there, constantly letting them know that I love them, not just through material things, but actually saying the words, giving them hugs and kisses, encouragement." The man next to him didn't miss a beat. He was hunting for something and had found his mark. He spoke again. "Do you think they feel any of that sadness that you're pouring out in an attempt to feed them love?" "Yes," came the answer right away. There was no hesitation. Charles had found the piece of truth he had been searching for. It was not what he wanted, but definitely what he needed. He hung his head as the first pangs of grief made their way to the surface, in what the others were hoping would be the beginning of a liberating journey. Wow. When you're trying desperately to not be like your father and to do the opposite of what he's done, other people feel the motivation. They don't see it, they can't put their fingers on it, but you feel when someone is doing something consistently, chronically, over time. You feel the energy behind that, and it's not a good energy. In Charles' life, in Charles' example, is grief, a lot of sadness. I would never be like him. He left me, and I would be the opposite. But you're still on your own. You're still fatherless. You're still disconnected. And I'm not saying go to connect with your lost father. What if he's not here? What if he's dead? What if you never met him? But there's a way to be connected to our fathers without having to meet them in many ways that I describe in this book.